Welcome to my channel, Freckled Mom DIY. I'm Devin. If you're new, welcome. And if you're returning, hey! Today I'm sharing 5 Rustic Cottage DIYs that are super easy, super adorable, and on a Dollar Tree budget, but definitely not Dollar Tree style. Me and 3 of my friends got together and used the same Dollar Tree products. I'll tell you about that in a bit, but let's jump right into these DIYs. This is a tiered tray that I made out of stove covers and a glass vase. So first I picked out some paper I'm going to use, but I need to paint the edges first because they're white on the side and I wanted it to kind of like a seamless look. So I went through with my mineral chalk paint and this gives a really good coverage. I did do 2 coats. So I go around the sides and I also go on the top of the stove covers. So I was going to use some paper and I'm not sure exactly how far it's going to go in, which you're going to see. So here I am doing the smaller one now. When you get these stove covers, they come 2 to a pack and I'm going to use both of them. I'm also painting the glass in that same mineral chalk paint and I do 2 coats. So now that everything's dry, I'm giving a generous layer of Mod Podge. Now I had already figured out the paper that I wanted and they're not the same patterns, which you'll see, but they're definitely coordinating. So you could do whatever colors you wanted here. And I do the same thing on the smaller one. I do the Mod Podge and then I roll on the paper to make sure it has a good adherence. And then I just take a little sandpaper and I go around the edges and I push downwards. That way the paper comes off easily. And you can see I do have a little bit of like an edge there, which you're going to see what I'm going to do with it. And then I do a layer of Mod Podge over the top. I'm doing the same things to the smaller one and then a layer of Mod Podge. And so I'm going to assemble it. These are just some Jenga blocks and I'm hot gluing them together. I did 2 of them together just so it wasn't super high, but high enough to give it a little stability. So I do a little bit of Star Bond glue, the thick one. There's all different ones. There's a medium one and a thin one. I use the thick one and a combination of hot glue. And then I just laid them down and I'm going to do the same thing with the glass. So I have my thick Star Bond and then I'm going to go in with my hot glue. And you guys know I'm not a fan of working with glass, so I am loving this combination. It worked so well. So I did the bottom one, which is the larger stove cover first, and then I take the top. I do that same combination of glue, just a little bit, you don't need a lot, and then I lay down the smaller for the top. And this is where I was talking about how the paper kind of was a little jagged and ripped, and I just use a little bit of plaster around the edge. And how adorable is this? This is so cute, and you could totally interchange this with a different vase, different paper. This is what I wanted for my home. I think it is super sweet, and I just love it so much. This is a challenge hosted by Chantel from Crafty Hints and Jackie from Crafting in Mimi's World. Zaina from OK at Home DIY and myself came along for the fun. We have 8 items we need to use to create our DIYs. Make sure to check out their channels and videos, which will be down in my description. All of these ladies are super amazing and I am so excited to see what they created. So we have 2 things off our list already. Now we're gonna do the pie pan and the hula skirt. I had a charger. I thought it was one of the items and it wasn't. So just ignore that even though I use it. So I'm keeping the color scheme. I have my mineral chalk paint and I'm giving it 2 coats all over this pie pan. And I did the front and the back. I didn't do the middle and you'll see that. So here's my hula skirt. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, but they are knotted and I kind of like that look. So I decided to keep it. Why add extra work if it's already done for me? So I just put a little bit of hot glue to hold the shape. and you're gonna see why. And I let it dry, and then once it was dry, I just went through and cut off the actual skirt, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna use this, but I don't need all those long pieces, and I just cut right around the edge, and I didn't make it uniform, I just cut it, and I have all this extra stuff for another project. So this is one of those metal words you get from the Dollar Tree. I had family. This was not part of the project, but I thought this was super cute, so I had to add it. And I did a generous coat of Mod Podge. I laid this right down onto the paper that I picked out, and once it was dry, I decided to cut it out with my utility knife. And I'm sure there's different ways you could go about doing this, but I just went around and I cut each little piece out. And you're gonna see what I did, but here it is, another angle of me cutting with the utility knife. Be careful so you don't slip and cut your finger. I do have a cutting board underneath here, so I don't cut my table or my crafting mat. And I'm just gonna go around as much as I can. There are a lot of nooks and crannies, and now I am just going to be pushing it out with my fingers and doing a mixture of sanding it and pushing it out over and over, and you're gonna see that. If you're new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. We do a lot of Dollar Tree crafts, DIY, gifts and decor, thrift flipping, and more. If you like these kind of videos, please consider subscribing. To all my returning friends and subscribers, thank you. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. You can also find me on Instagram as Freckled Mom. Now you can see this was definitely a chore, so if you have any advice on how to get this paper off easier, please let me know. But yeah, it was definitely work. I cleaned up the edges the best I could with my utility knife, and then I sanded off any super jagged edges, but I do plan on going through, which you're gonna see, with a layer of Mod Podge. So once you have the Mod Podge over this, you can use your fingers and you can smooth out the edges a little bit better. So I am giving it a generous coat of Mod Podge, and you could use the matte or you could use the gloss. Mod Podge comes in different finishes, so that's up to you. I like the matte, and I think this came out super cute. And so now we're going to cut out the circle we're going to use for the inside of the pie pan. So this is just some paper that I get from Michael's. I normally buy them when they're on sale, and I love this paper. It is super sweet. I just got a whole bunch of these, and there's a lot of fall colors, and I think this was just really nice. I did the layer of Mod Podge first, and then once I made sure there were no air bubbles, I did another layer of Mod Podge just to seal it in. And now I have that grass hula skirt that we cut off, and all I'm doing is hot gluing it to the edge. Now, obviously, if you guys were doing this and you weren't part of a challenge on YouTube, you could omit the hula skirt. I do think it adds a really cute detail to it, but here is where you could change it up and maybe put some ribbon or a little bit of twine or some rope, and I think all of those would be super cute. And again, this is what I did because this is one of the items I had to use, and I still wanted it to be functional as decor in the house. So I just cut it like a little chunk off. You can see that, just so I could fit it. I did another last bit of hot glue right there, and then you're gonna see I have my little ends there, and I'm just tying a little bow. I was gonna make a bow, but this was cute enough as it is. I think this is super cottagey, and I think it's gonna fit right into my home. And then I do the same thing I did with the tiered tray. I just have my plaster and Waverly, and I'm just dry brushing right around all the letters. This time I'm using my medium Star Bond. So when you get Star Bond, it comes in a couple different formulas. I wanted to try them all. So here's the medium and a combination of hot glue. And then I just laid it right on top. And I think this is so cute. And like I said, I thought this was part of the challenge. It wasn't, but it actually held up really well. So this is just a charger you get at the Dollar Tree. and I made little knots, and then I hot glued the knots so they wouldn't move, and then I hot glued it to the back of the pie pan so I could use it if I wanted to hang this up from a nail or a hook. And it's super sturdy, so definitely a good idea if you're thinking about it. How adorable is this? I am in love with this wood grain paper and the sunflower paper. I think it coordinates together so well. I think it's super cute. You could add a little flower too if you wanted to. You guys, we are getting down this list. So let's see what the next ones are, and we're gonna keep working on that list. This is super sweet. You guys have seen these metal flowers. That was not part of the list. The list was a shadow box and the wire bin, and you're gonna see what I do with it. So I have my mineral chalk paint. I love this color, and I'm giving it 2 coats. I do the inside of the box. This is home decor, and I just flipped it over. So I do the inside of the box, and then I do the outside of the box and that inner rim. So I didn't do the back of it because no one's gonna see it, and if they do, they're gonna see a cute little picture that was there, so that's okay. And then I went with my wire cutters and I cut off the bottom piece and the top piece. I wasn't sure what I was gonna use. I ended up going with just the bottom. I think this is like super cute. And then I had this metal flower I had spray painted in the garage. Everything I use for my paint colors is down in my description. And I'm gonna stick with my theme, and I'm going in with my Waverly plaster, and I'm just adding a little extra. I'm not sure if you want to call it dry brushing or distressing or just adding a little something to it. But I think this is super cute, and I just did it all over the flower, and that's it. How sweet is this? I think this is so cute, and this goes with my style, it goes with the colors I wanted to use, and it is super cute. A nice little addition for August, and I am almost done, guys. Look at that. This list is going down. So this one is right up my alley. This is with craft sticks, and it's my before end of summer bucket list. Get it? Bucket list. So I have a bunch of colors here. They're all folk art. I'm using Calypso Coral. This is such a pretty color. And then I also have my Blue Lullaby and my Daybreak. And this is Candid Coral, super pretty, and I'm just giving a good coat to all of these. And then I also have these Dollar Tree little embellishments that came out for summer, and I painted those. And we are just going to paint these sticks. And I also had, I have some more embellishments, and these are just going on the outside of my bin, which you're gonna see. And this one is my Cabana Stripe. What a pretty color. All of these are my folk art paints that I love. Here's another Dollar Tree embellishment. It's one of those chalkboard signs, and I just wrote with a little chalkboard marker before end of summer. So that way everyone knows this is my bucket list of things I want to do before summer is over. And then I have a little copper paint marker here, and I'm just writing down all the things I want to do. So there's a bunch of stuff, some stuff that is for camping and going to the beach and visiting certain areas that I haven't seen yet. So it's just a lot of fun stuff. The Providence water fires, if you haven't seen that, you need to. So much fun. So this is just such a cute little idea. This could be something you do with your kids. This is something you could do at the beginning of summer, at the end of summer, something just to remind you whether you use this or it's just for decoration. I think this is so adorable and obviously super cottage. Down in the description, let me know something that's local to you that you have to do every summer and that you love doing and you're still looking forward to doing, or maybe you already did it this summer. Looks like I got a lot to do still. Good thing we have another month. We have one more thing on the list. And a adorable rug that I made, you're gonna need 3 colors. And these are just 2 Dollar Tree mats, and I colored it first with spray paint, and I did the lightest color of the 3 colors I chose. Now I'm gonna lay down the tape, and you put down 1 space-saving piece of tape, and then you're gonna pull that up once you get that 3rd piece down, and you're gonna keep going. So you'll do 1 piece of tape, the space saver, another piece of tape, and then keep going. And I just used that space saver piece of tape over and over. I just kept pulling it up and using it again. So now you're ready for your 2nd color, the darker color, but not the darkest. And you're gonna spray paint that right over your duct tape. I did 2 coats. I didn't let it dry between. Now go ahead and pull all that tape up. You don't need to wait for it to be dry. Now go through and do that tape the same way you did it before, but change the direction. So put the tape down, put a spacer piece, and then put your 3rd piece of tape. Go through and use that same color again and go over the new pieces of duct tape. This time keep that duct tape down, but go ahead and change the direction and put new duct tape on top of that duct tape, if that makes sense, but you can see what I'm doing. Now it's time to spray with our last color. Again, I did 2 coats. And now my favorite part, pulling up all the tape. I think this came out so adorable and super easy, and you could do whatever color you want, but I'm planning on using this as the base to layer my rugs. I had originally seen this from Glue Guns and Roses. She did a great explanation, and I just love how this came. I hope you enjoyed these DIYs. If you did, please like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider it. Also, let me know what your favorite DIY was today. When you hit the bell, you'll be notified every time I post a new video. You can also find me on Instagram as Freckled Mom. Another way to support my channel is buymeacoffee.com. If you like cleaning, cooking, and decorating, please check out my Freckled Mom at Home channel. I have all these links down in my description. Don't forget, this was a challenge thanks to my awesome friends. Make sure to check out their channels and the playlist. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys soon.